and welcome to Weekly News on Praha TV. I'm Marcela Tomčíková and I'm pleased to be your anchor. Each week we bring you a quick and insightful look at the key stories from Prague and the Central Bohemian region, from important developments to inspiring local moments. Let's catch up on what's been happening around us. And let's get started with the hottest and biggest news. 1 billion and over 200 million crowns. That's how much Prague will redistribute among its city districts. The Prague City Council is planning to invest more than 1.2 billion crowns in the district's development. The largest part of the subsidies, over 400 million, will go to the construction of new schools and the expansion of existing ones, for example in Kolovraty, Jahodnice or Žižkov. The money will also go to the reconstruction of cultural centers and other public projects. The final approval of the subsidies will be voted on by Prague councillors.
Prague will share 1,460 million crowns with its districts. Most of the money will be used to create more school places. Kolovrat and Prague 14 will receive the largest subsidies of 175 million for building new schools. New schools will be built in other areas and several existing ones will be expanded.
That will be newly developed in the so-called Green City in Prague 9, important project for the reconstruction of the cultural center in Nizhny Město, which costs 50 million. Or a new school in Kolovraty. Then there are schools that are expanding, such as the school in Herov, which is being enlarged. Because we have approved a change to the zoning plan for the Žižkov freight terminal, and there is a need for additional school capacity.
Prague 14 will receive 150 million more from the city. They plan to construct a modular primary school with 18 classrooms at a cost of 850 million crowns.
There is a new school in Jahodnice. Such a pleasant, villa-like structure that is gradually growing.
The school will welcome first graders in September next year. Prague 22 will receive 115 million for the building of a kindergarten and primary school. Prague Libuš will receive 100 million for renovating and expanding an elementary school, and Prague 12 will get 50 million for a similar purpose. More grants will be directed outside of education.
The railway station in Hepoje and the one in Harotina will mainly be repurposed for other uses. In Harotina, it will be the municipal police, while in Hepoje, it will be more of a cultural space. We have a relatively important project for the reconstruction of the cultural center in Nizhny Město, which costs 50 million. Yet this cultural center needs the reconstruction badly. It needs work.
The investment proposals were endorsed by the City Council earlier this week, but Prague representatives will still need to vote on them.
The Central Bohemian Regional Council has a new member. Barbora Daňhová, the head of a rehabilitation center and councillor from Příbram, has taken over the vacant seat from the ANO movement. In regional politics, she wants to focus mainly on healthcare and social issues.
On May 28, 2025, Barbara was sworn in as a new member of the Central Bohemian Regional Council, representing the ANO 2011 party as a substitute. Daňhová.
Barbara Daňhová is now the new Central Bohemian representative for ANO, coming from Příbram. She took over Robert Bezdek's position in the council after he resigned due to criminal charges concerning illegal waste disposal and the contamination of a vast area with asbestos.
My main topics of interest are healthcare, social services, and possibly environmental issues. I find these areas most engaging and I have a good understanding of them.
Barbara, being the head of rehabilitation, is a valuable addition to the healthcare sector. Barbara has served on the Health Committee, was in the previous term, and is active in local politics as a councillor in Příbram. She brings experience in local politics, and I believe she has a lot to contribute, especially in healthcare.
During the first meeting, the new council member takes their oath. I would like to read the legal text of the oath, and I would ask Mrs. Daňhová to come forward to take the oath and to sign it with her signature.
After about 3 hours of discussions, we asked the new representative about her impressions from the meeting and how much municipal and regional politics differ.
In regional municipal politics, we focus significantly more on the contributions from the opposition. I was surprised they just skip over it here, and they don't focus on it much.
The ANO movement has 25 representatives in the council, making it the largest representative group in the central Bohemian region. However, they still ended up in opposition after the elections. Lukáš Richter, Television Prague.
The capital city of Prague has removed fiacres from the market order, but the carriages continue to appear in the center. The reason is that the rental contract for the space of the Old Town Square is still valid. The fiacres claim that they take proper care of the horses, while the city argues that the conditions of the streets are unsuitable. The dispute is now being resolved in court.
The fight over the fiacres in Prague has no winner yet. The city has crossed them off the regulatory list, so they shouldn't be in the center. However, the city has a current rental agreement with the fiacre drivers for a place in the Old Town Square, so the carriages are still visible in the streets.
Fiacre drivers cannot operate in the Old Town Square because their market spot has been removed from the regulations for several years now. Thus, they do not possess the public law title necessary to operate in public spaces. Hence, the trade office, which ensures adherence to market regulations, has been fining them for over a year now. But the fiacre drivers are contesting the fines in court, so the trade office is waiting for the court's decision. And if it confirms the fines, if the trade office is confirmed to have acted justly and the fines are legitimate, it will keep imposing fines.
The fiacre drivers assert that the horses are well looked after. With the valid contract with the city, there is no current threat of them leaving the streets.
We made a horse stable in Prague for $1 million, which is drained and is insulated. We added water there, so when the horses arrive at the square, they get sprayed with cold water when it's hot. Otherwise, they walk on plastic shoes all year round. There is nothing that isn't followed. We have bi-monthly checkups where veterinarians come to check on the horses.
Prague's center is filled with smog and noise. The horses walk on hard surfaces and also move in the streets alongside cars, which is definitely not ideal. They are not in suitable conditions. Which are not suitable for the horses, at least in my opinion, and according to many experts in this field.
However, as long as it doesn't disturb me, I guess it's okay. I enjoy it. The real question is what the locals think. But anyway, I'm not a local, so it doesn't bother me.
I think they are beautiful, but I also think it's a bit sad. I would like to see it in the center, personally.
They are nice, very nice, but I prefer priority paths to horse carriages.
Horses ride from the 1st of April until the 30th of December. And then they go to the pastures and receive home. Horses in Prague are uniquely positioned globally, as they only work 6 hours a day. Otherwise, horses work 12 to 14 hours everywhere.
Prague can terminate the contract if the council decides so. However, this has not been successfully implemented in the past. The end of the carriage service would not come immediately. The contract requires a 2-year notice.
It's a foolish situation, but I am still convinced that they need not only the rental agreement, but also the marketplace in the market order, which they currently lack. From my perspective, they should not be there at all.
Mr. Zabransky and Mr. Pospíšil are in charge of the market order. I don't know who else, but there are 4 or 5 people. None of them gets it.
One of the compromises, according to Adam Zabransky, could be relocating the horses outside the city center. However, the carriage drivers refuse this, and the reason is practical. In short, running a business outside the center wouldn't be worthwhile for them.
And now we move to the Velká Chuchle, and not only for the horse races. Drivers in Velká Chuchle will soon see a significant improvement. The construction of a new overpass will replace the problematic railway crossing on Starochuchelská Street, which often caused traffic jams and restrictions. It should be completed by the end of 2027. And the traditional events are to come. Trotting races, which have a long tradition in Prague, are back in great shape. Although the weather last week was not perfect, everyone had a great time. 130 different countries on one spot, an even bigger number of different tastes. From Africa to Asia, all to be tasted. The rainy weather did not stop thousands of visitors who went to Vítězné náměstí in Prague 6. The 8th annual Festival of Embassies, Food and Culture offered culinary and cultural experiences from around 130 countries around the world. Dozens of stalls served dishes from Yemen to Argentina. The event, which Prague 6 organizes in cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has become the largest of its kind in Europe.
The 8-year Festival of Ambassadors Food and Culture filled Kulatiak with delightful aromas, colors and languages. Dozens of embassies and partner cities showcased not only typical dishes but also a piece of their culture here.
This is essentially a gastronomic journey around the globe where you don't have to purchase any plane tickets or endure any travel hassles. All of this takes place within 10 to 12 hours right here in Prague 6 at Vítězné náměstí. We have 56 embassies and partner cities here with about 120 to 130 stalls. And as we know, the largest event on the continent. We have a multitude of countries from Asia and many from Africa offering a variety of skewers and dishes that people recognize. When traveling to the third world, people often find these diverse flavors, and it really is a vibrant mix of tastes. Lines for Argentine steaks.
Here we have food and coffee, and I am proud that we can provide any coffee you desire. Yemen is the place where coffee was first exported to the surrounding world. We are also trying to bring some Yemeni food here. We might not cover all, but some. Such activities are beneficial for our mental health and are vital for creating diplomatic ties and connections between people. We celebrate our own relationships between nations and individuals.
Although the weather slightly affected the event's interest, it was still significant for the public.
We sampled caramelized bananas today, and they are delicious and sweet, though quite warm. I'd advise going for the colder ones. We are planning to have some Taiwanese tea here, and we are also considering chicha morada, a drink made from corn from Peru.
Today we wanted to taste many new cuisines, and I was most surprised by Kazakhstan was truly outstanding. I had to find the recipe.
Now we were directed towards Iraq, so maybe something there. And then we also had Azerbaijan, I believe. We had Slovak-style halushki.
The Embassy Festival at Kulatiak once again demonstrated that the way to the heart is through the stomach, and also promotes international understanding.
That's all for this week's of Praha TV Weekly News. Thank you for watching us and being part of our journey through the region's most important stories. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time, take care and see you soon.